stop posting for the same audience on every social media platform. Every social media platform has a different segment of your audience. I want to talk to you today about how to build a persona-based social media strategy. It's not complicated, and it is important, because if you're talking to the same people on every single channel, or worse, using the same content on every single channel, you are missing opportunities, and you are just not being strategic. So how do you know? Your engagement's in the toilet, your follower count isn't growing, nobody knows what you do, you never actually close business that has originated on social media. These are some clues that your strategy is less effective than it could be, and I'm going to walk you through how to fix that. I'm Joy Yule. I'm the owner of Winsome Marketing, Hire a Writer, Baby Got Backlink, the Academy of Continuing Education, lots of things and things. You can follow us all over social. I am very Googleable, and I am here to help writers, marketers, people who are passionate about growth gain the tools and the skills that they need to succeed. So this is one of them. Persona-based social media marketing. All right, so let's dive into it. I am going to show you our persona-based social media marketing. So this is for Winsome Marketing. You may know that we kind of launched a new brand in the last few months called Winsome Marketing. I don't know, I say it apparently many times. And when we did that, we did a pretty significant amount of research, and obviously in our branding work, we identified multiple segments of audiences that we will sell marketing, SEO, content services to. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you essentially what's in front of you. We'll talk you through it. This is a persona-based social media plan. What we have done is we've essentially identified that we have three audience types. We have startups or mid-sized businesses. We have mid-sized businesses that kind of don't have a solid digital strategy, or specifically a content strategy, like a growth-oriented content strategy, which there are lots of those. And then we've also got mid-sized to larger businesses. So we work with a lot of larger businesses where they've got a CMO, they've got maybe 5, even 10 people on their marketing team, but they have an overgrown Frankenstein digital or content strategy. This happens a lot in large businesses because they have grown up, right? Like they've been around. They're not new. They didn't start digital. So they had to kind of go through the digital transformation, and it didn't always work, right? Or it didn't always get done well, or it wasn't always complete, or maybe it's not complete, whatever. So lots of reasons that that happens, but we definitely find that people are in that scenario often. So we have our identified, these are our audience segments. What we know about social media is that there are different kinds of audiences that favor different platforms, right? So what we did in order to understand, we took kind of the actual platform-based data to understand where we should be providing content for some of our different audience segments, okay? Then we decided to associate an audience segment with a certain platform, knowing that we were going to kind of, over time, tailor the content that we put on that platform to that segment of the audience, okay? So are you with me so far? So we've got audience segments. We know kind of how who hangs out on different social media platforms, right? We know the general archetype of the individuals who are most active on that platform. Then we picked the audience segment that best fits who's already there, who's already on Insta, who's already on TikTok, who's already on LinkedIn. And then we're going to go and we're going to customize content. So this, like I said, you don't want to post the same thing on every social media platform. You also probably can't produce 6 versions, 6 totally distinct social media editorial calendars. So that's why I'm using the word tailor, right? You can often tweak things, do a different caption, do a different video, present it in a little bit different way, different format, things like that, in order to make content work for your different audience types on these different platforms where they hang out. So let's go through this. The criteria then, so we've already done the assignment, right? We've got the audience segment, we've got them assigned to a social media platform. Then what we're going to go in and we're going to kind of build narrative, let's call it, around 3 categories. How are they feeling initially? Okay, and this is true of the audience segment itself, not just the audience segment on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, whatever. So we're going to say they're feeling lost and confused. So these startups or mid-sized businesses, they're a little bit lost and confused. They don't know where to start. Do we need a website? Do we need a TikTok account? Do we need to be on the YouTube? Whatever, right? They're a little bit kind of all over the place, or maybe don't have a clear formulated plan. We come in as the experts who can give them a leg up on the competition. We've been there, done that, right? We're the ones that they can literally just hand the keys to your systems. We got you. We can build this from the ground up. We've done it before. We have proven ability in this area. We can come in and give you what you need in order to get this off the ground and to be a well-oiled machine. And then how do they feel? So after interacting with our content, after working with us, and we actually pulled these directly from reviews and testimonials, most of these words, which was kind of a cool exercise, they feel energized. They're seeing results. They're motivated. They want to keep pushing forward. This works. Okay, this works. Awesome. And they feel supported. They have a partner that they can trust who actually delivers, right? We are not the weakest link. We are the ones who always come through. So this is just the narrative that companies think about it. Knowing those three things drives how you write a social media caption. It drives what you choose to put in the feed, right? If we say this is the sequence of events that we want to occur, it's going to very much strategically shape the kind of content you create for that platform, which is super cool because then you kind of have a playbook, right? On Instagram, this is the kind of people, this is how they feel, this is who we are, and then this is how they feel after working with us. And that can become a very, very predictable identity on that social media platform, which is something that most businesses struggle with. They don't know who they are on the various social media platforms. They don't know who they're talking to. And so it just becomes kind of this mismatch of like branded content and quotes and holidays and whatever that doesn't work for anybody ever. Right? So this is a way to gain control. This is the way to build clarity. This is the way to establish predictability and to actually build communities within your audience on these platforms where they already are. Okay. The other key components that I want to highlight to you before I kind of talk through the other ones is for every single social media platform, it is important that you've got an MVP lead magnet. Social media is not a stopping point. You could have 15,000 followers, 150,000 followers, 1.5 million followers on social media, and it not get you sales. Brand awareness is very hard to measure. It is essential, imperative, if you are going to get continued budget for social media efforts, that you have a quantifiable result. What is the ROI on that social media spend? If you hire us to do social media, what is the ROI? And the only way that you can measure that effectively is if social media is measured as a top of funnel endeavor and you have offers. You have offers in your social media because impressions metrics only go so far. At the end of the day, if times are tight, you need to know if social media is a reliable sales channel for the business. And if it's just brand awareness, okay, but allocate resources accordingly. And I would prefer that you actually build a pipeline for it, that you actually build a resource that is an MVP lead magnet that you are consistently pushing out on social media via DMs, via offers, via posts, stories, whatever it may be. So I really strongly suggest to all clients that you have kind of that asset. That's the MVP lead magnet. And you may have a couple, right? So it may be that you have an experience-based one, like we have like a site review offer, and then also a downloadable, something like that. But an ebook, probably not going to work. Okay, so it's important that you think through that that is actually valuable, relevant, that it is meeting the content consumption style of that platform, all the things, okay? So let me just kind of go through then how that varies. So this isn't copy paste. This is something that needs to be very carefully thought through and structured so that you are delivering the right nuanced content to the right platforms. On TikTok, we would say we're talking a little bit more to mid-sized businesses that don't have that solid digital strategy. And for those, they come in kind of feeling overwhelmed by their growth. Same on YouTube. So these are kind of, you see, we've got one platform where we kind of have a crossover. And I would say YouTube Shorts, not YouTube, like my channel is obviously a little bit different, but our YouTube Shorts, are definitely a little bit going to be more this way. So they come in feeling overwhelmed with their growth. We're the specialists. We help them detangle the complexity that has accompanied their business growth, right? You grew, cool, but you get bigger, you fail bigger. You get bigger, you've got more problems, more money, more problems, etc. We cut to the chase and help them prioritize what's going to make the most difference, right? Which is like exactly what this video is, right? So that kind of works really well. Like, what's going to make the most difference? Don't just keep doing stuff because you've done it. Do stuff that matters. Do stuff that moves the needle. Make sure it's quantifiable. Make sure it's measurable. Make sure that you can value it the right way. And then how do they feel? They feel that, hey, we're capable co-leaders with you. We are as good as anybody you would have on staff, and we're as committed. We're into this. We're into you. We love this. You can entrust us with your processes, your people, and we are going to help competently move your strategic objectives forward. Measuring how that feels, that's really important, right, to us. All right. And then last is LinkedIn. So on LinkedIn, we go more for like the mid-sized to larger businesses that have that out of hand, overgrown Frankenstein. They come in, they're feeling unsure how to grow. Like, how do we get out of the mess of, outsized project management, outsized demands, growth that's like meteoric and we're trying to keep up, AI, blah, 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 right? Like, there's just this feeling of like, well, where do we actually go from here? Okay. And we come in as capable co-leaders. They can entrust with their processes, their people, and competently move their strategic objectives forward. So you could tell there's a little bit of overlap here. But this one is a little bit more identity oriented, right? So they feel that we're capable co-leaders. Here, this is who we are, right? We are coming in as from the get-go. So we're going to describe ourselves that way. The difference is that's not just how they need to feel. This is how we're actually putting the messaging out there. We are co-leaders with you. We are as capable, as competent, as somebody you would hire, that kind of thing. And then they feel relieved that they're finally getting high quality work and advice, right? In all of the consulting mess and all of the agency options, all of that, they're relieved because we are the real deal. And they feel resourced. They have an extension of their team who can fill all of these strategic needs across the organization, which is really valuable. And again, these have come from actual client reviews, so we're confident that that is the case. Other places we post, so we do have some kind of less strategic content. We maintain some pretty robust blogging on our various digital properties. Those kind of things are less about the funnel and more about SEO and organic search share, which is a metric that we can measure, but it is a separate metric from something like leads. And so we do post content there. It's part of our social media every so often, but it's really not the point, okay? So that's another very important point is that, I think a couple years ago, we all had this idea that like just repurpose all the content you make everywhere. And so if you're going to do a topic cluster on, a specific topic, rubber nipples, whatever, and you want to dominate that key phrase and you've done all the content, then you should post every single blog on social media. I mean, does anybody on social media want to read that many blogs? Like you've got to think about like who you're actually encountering. What are the content consumption habits of that platform and people on that platform? And is that content meeting both of those things, right? Is it speaking to the right people with the right kind of content? If it isn't, don't just post it there just to post it there. Think more strategically. Because when you're doing a good SEO strategy, you also want to have articles posted in other platforms so that they can link back to your website. That's a really good, healthy way to do it. Medium is a good platform for that. It'll link back to your website. Pinterest is a good platform to that. You may not need the engagement in order to just be present there and have it link back. And I have personally found that over time, both of those platforms appreciate in terms of awareness and like earned impressions without really any intervention. Like they just kind of grow on their own as the body of work grows. So that's all very important. And then you may say, okay, but we've got these outliers. Like in this very specific service line or this very specific product or this very specific region, we kind of have a separate audience, right? That wouldn't be like core audience. It doesn't fit into one of those buckets. That is when you start to have the conversation about branching into multiple versions of on the same social media platform, multiple accounts on the same social media platform. For instance, we have a TikTok account that is like the Winsome team that's building. We do team videos and it's all of that. We have a separate social media account for Winsome PR because our PR team, Faith and Cass and I, do a lot of content, first of all, and we're talking about something different. So Winsome Marketing is a content agency. We do consulting, content, and PR. The PR side of things is just different. We're talking about personal branding. We're talking to executives. We need to come across a little bit different in order to have the street cred and all the things that we need in order to achieve new business for that business unit. So we decided that we were going to break out and have a separate account. We do almost all separate content. Sometimes we repost, but not often. And so that's where you start to think through strategically. If the audience is too big and our message is too vast, we're going to be saying a lot of nothing to nobody. And it's going to just be a desert wasteland of kind of a nothing burger. And then you start to think, okay, then if we're going to do social media well, we're going to have to allocate. We're going to have to be a little bit more niched, a little bit more specific, and start to put forward a little bit more of a creative strategy, which probably requires a specialist to kind of come in and diagnose for you, because maintaining that is not chill. So you have to be sure that you're ready, right? That you're like really ready to go for it, because that is quite intense. Hopefully that was helpful. So to recap, build out who your audience is, those segments of your audience, then evaluate who's on what social media platform, then create a plan. How are they going to come in and encounter your content? What do you want them to learn from in experiencing your content, interacting with your content, whatever? And then how should they feel on the outside, right? How should they feel on the other side of that experience? If you can articulate that, you can begin to nuance your content in a way that genuinely, authentically attracts new business. And that is the goal of social media, that it is an entry point to your business, and that they progress from the entry point further down the funnel so that you can ultimately close the business that you have earned on social media. I wish you all the best with this. I know it's not easy. If you need social media strategy, if you need any of that, definitely DM. I don't think you can DM on YouTube, but hit me up in the comments, or find us on Google. We've got lots of great content, and I'm here to help. And I wish you all the best.